Let me also move quickly to education, because this is where I'm connected. There are a number of things that are just heartbreaking. We can send people to school, but if they are functionally literate, it doesn't mean a thing. They go through the system, they come out, we receive them at the higher level, right? That's when you would think that they could string a sentence together and spell. And we are seeing students who make it through who are functionally illiterate. So what is the point of sending them to school? Apparently, and anyone can correct me, the school feeding that is given at the SHS level at the moment, is it 1 CD 50 pesos? Did it go up? I don't know. Right now, a ball of kenke, and the 1 CD 50 pesos is for a day. A ball of kenke is between 4 and 5 CDs. So in other words, 4 or 3 children will share 1 ball of kenke for the whole day in school, right? What does that mean for the parents who are sending their children into these schools? We know, the rest of us, we are subsidizing the free SHS. And yet, PTAs are not allowed to talk about this. Old boys and old girls are not allowed to say how much they are investing in the schools. Principals are not allowed to say how much money they need, because if they do so, they are disgracing the government. Let's be real. Free SHS is being subsidized by Ghanaian taxpayers, and it's not making its way into the statistics. I know parents who have to go to school every weekend to take food to their kids, but have to take enough food for 5 or 6 children, so that whose parents cannot afford to do this can enjoy from the parents who are able to do this for their children. WASSCE results are late. I'm sitting right now. We are wondering when we are going to admit our first year students. We are told that government owes the West African Exams Council. So if we've got all these amazing figures for revenues, why haven't we paid? Why do we still have to wait? Why does our academic year have to get messed up? What about children who want to study in other parts of the world, who cannot go, and in fact who will not go because they do not have their results? And I want to serve notice to the NDC, because Samson, you've assured me they are listening. I heard the incoming president say that first year in education at the university is also going to be free, or words to that effect.
Yeah, that's correct.
Unless he is planning to provide that money to the universities, and we know that the subsidies and what government pays to universities right now, it's basically our salaries, right? So where are the universities expected to get the money from to take care of these millions of students who are going to enter into our enclaves for higher education? We also, Fatima mentioned the numbers of female students, and it's great. It's great to have a ratio that is improving female participation. Sexual harassment is a major issue in our secondary. Those who do research in the schools, both SHS and JHS, major issue is sexual harassment, rape. These cases are brushed under the carpet. We are not allowed to talk about them. They go to the patients. The majority of those cases do not end up anywhere. They are settled out of court. Pastors come and beg. We ask people, they give you a little bit of money to pay you for what has happened to your daughter and sometimes also your son. Those issues are not being dealt with in the educational sector. And I can't say that in higher education it is not also happening. It is happening there. But we need the resources and we need the boldness as a country to confront these issues. Let me say something also about healthcare, right? We had up till today, we are still collecting COVID levy. I go somewhere, I look at how much I'm paying in taxes, NHIS, tourism tax, COVID levy, and so on. And till today, we do not know how much money Frontiers made as a company. I read somewhere that government got about 6.4 million in 2021 or 2020, and that Frontiers made 86 point something million. I wrote those figures down, right? How is one company making so much money and government is not earning not even a fraction of what a company makes? So when we are sitting back as cynics and we say, well, that money that Frontiers made is just being distributed among party faithfuls who enabled Frontiers to be sole selected for this job. What does that mean for the health sector? Where is that money going? What has it done? You've got hospitals. Samson, you talked about commissioning. Are we going to get the healthcare personnel to work there? We always hear months, people have been posted, nurses, lab technicians, they have not been paid. Mm-hmm. Where is the money going? We can't just have a building and it's not staffed with people. And when the people are there, do you incentivize them? Do you make them feel, I'm so proud to be working in this area? Do you think beyond the box and say, okay, I'm sending people to any of that long list of hospitals that Fatih mentioned? Will there be housing for them? Will there be a school for their children to go to? Or are they all going to run back to Accra? Let me say one last thing on Galamsey so that, and COVID. Both COVID and Galamsey, and I was really disappointed to hear that the president say that people have jumped on the bandwagon late in life of of this Galamsey menace that we are having to deal with. There are so many people, individuals and organizations. There's Eco-Conscious Citizen, which is an environmental CSO. They have been talking about this for the longest time. We can't forget Erastus Donko and all that he has gone through, and journalists who were, fighting against Galamsey long ago. And in fact, this started under the NDC government. And Akuffo Addo promised that when he comes, he's going to deal with it. So he inherited a government from a previous government where already this kind of social activism was occurring. The Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, of which I'm a fellow, has done numerous position papers, policy suggestions. Yeah. I am not that any of that information went anywhere or that anything was done with it in terms of policy. And we are sitting here, and I would have expected, given the civil action that took place in the latter part of the year, people went on strike. UTAG went on strike. I am a member of UTAG because we said we cannot understand how one would have a law that allows mining in forest reserves. We are a country in the sub-region that has among the lowest proportion of forests. And yet we like hailing our greatness. We do not. We know that we need the forests for our climate. We need it for our water. We need it for our livelihoods. We need it for our food. Galamsey is not just robbing us of clean water, it is robbing us of clean food. And that one, if you see brown water coming from your tap, think that it is poisoned. Or if you live near a river and you see brown water, you know that it is harmful. You may not know how many chemicals are in that water, but you definitely know it. When you are eating your contobre or your cocoyam, you don't know if there's cyanide that is around it. And I was really expecting that if the NPP government has not, I don't know if I should use the word able, has not been sufficiently willing to deal with this, in my view, that at least some prescriptions for what could have been done, some apology to us that this hasn't happened, and some prescriptions for what the incoming government would do. One of the things that I find very painful in leadership generally, in many leaders generally, is a failure to acknowledge our pain and our hardship. Just a word, you know what, Ghanaians, it's been really, really tough. We acknowledge that we haven't done what we should have done. Tell us the wonderful things. We can feel the pain. And they will then blame their predecessors for, and I don't want to hear this with President Mahama, that he came, he inherited this, and that's why he can't do that, and Ghanaians are complaining. Yes, we will complain. That is why, let's give some statistics that everybody is aware of. When the NDC won the election when the NPP won the election in 2020, they won with 6.7 million voters, roughly. Today, the NDC has won with 6.3 million, and they lost with 6.2 million in 2020. So they have added 1 million voters per in order to win. This is
100,000 voters.
100,000 voters, I'm sorry, to win. A little over 100,000 voters to win. This is not a huge victory for them. They won because a lot of people did not go out to vote. I'm told that the voting population was about 61%, and last time it was 79. About 20% of our population did not go out and vote. And a lot of young people that I have spoken to, not only in Accra, refused to go and vote.
And they say that is a vote of no confidence in Akuffo Addo.
Exactly. And so the incoming government should take note that it was not because everybody was like, yay, we are now so happy to have the NDC. They were just fed up with the NPP. And so I am expecting that this incoming government, the issues that we are talking about today, education, healthcare, the mining sector, all of these, the social protection, every day, yes, Angela talked about it. We talk about NHIS. What about children? What about the elderly? What about the disabled? What are we doing for them? Ministers pass. We had a former Minister of Gender and Social Protection who opened her mouth to say that she was not aware of the number of children on the streets who had come from other parts of Africa, or that there were children on the streets because of, people who could not pay their school fees. How can you be a minister and not be aware of the hardship that is going on in this country? What kind of policies are we putting in place for the least and the most vulnerable? That's how we measure the success of our country. It's not about the figures. It's not about how much gold we are earning. It's not about how much money we are earning. How well are the least, the most vulnerable? What are we doing for them? Do we care about them? We just drive past them. We do not care. It's a rainy day. There are puddles on the street. Somebody's by the side of the street begging. You are driving in your V8. You've got tinted glasses. You don't give a damn, excuse my language. And then you zoom past them. You don't even think that as a political appointee, what can I do? What, as an MP, can I say when I get into Parliament? And we can talk about the MPs. I'm sure we'll come to that with the ex gratia. What can I do to change something within the 4 or 8 years that I'm in office, or 12, or whatever it may end up being, for some of these people who are suffering the most? There is no point sending everybody to school if they are not going. There is no point sending them to school if they cannot read and write. In fact, they would have served learning a trade and immediately earning an income than postponing their earning of an income for several years only to end up with nothing. So let me end it there.
Okay.
Samson. Thank you.
Right.